there's a lot of people that are grooming a lot of people. And we all know that the gays tend to be grooming our children. And here's a perfect example of that out of my home state where I am right now, Illinois. Teachers put through coaching sessions on gender and sexuality at a woke Illinois math academy. So someplace where they're supposed to be focusing on like smart people crap, like math. Yeah, no, instead they're talking about gender and sexuality. A woke Illinois math and science boarding academy makes teachers meet with a quote equity coach over the lack of inclusion and incorrect pronoun usage, according to emails obtained by the Daily Wire. This is all out of the Daily Wire. Teachers at the Illinois Math and Science Academy, which is called IMSA, locally, which is a public boarding school in Aurora for grades 10 through 12, are told to meet with an equity instruction coach if they are found to have violated school DEI policies, according to emails obtained by Parents Defending Education, PDE, and shared with the Daily Wire. Before we get a little bit further into this story, I will share a personal anecdote real quick. I've been to IMSA more than once. When I was in middle school, I was a part of the mathletes. That's not what we were actually called, but that's what I called it colloquially because that's essentially what it was. It was like a math club. And I was a part of this math club for the specific purpose that I could go to IMSA on a field trip and miss a day of school at least once a year from 6th through 8th grade. So I've been to IMSA a few times because we had a little like math competition thing. I was never very good at math, but I was a part of it. And I've been to IMSA. And I can tell you back when I went there, they weren't focusing on this gay crap, but apparently they are now. But let's continue. The emails show a school culture where teachers are expected to undergo a plethora of DEI-related trainings and an extensive process for faculty and community members to report alleged instances of bias. In one instance, a teacher was ordered to undergo a coaching session with the equity coach over pronoun use. It has been determined that there is no evidence of bias, but rather a lack of inclusion. IMSA's DEI officer, Adrian Coleman, wrote to the teacher in September 23. And of course, a DEI officer is a BS position made up so that somebody could just collect a paycheck and not actually do any work. She said, quote, or he or she said, quote, in this instance, while you were proactive in collecting students' names and pronouns, IMSA students still felt uncomfortable and unsafe due to incorrect pronoun usage. Oh, incorrect pronoun usage. Go after yourself. The teacher was then told to prepare to engage in a coaching session around gender and sexuality, as well as appropriate use of pronouns with an equity instructional coach. This is what our educators are focused on, is equity instructional coaches. And they have to be worried about correct pronoun usage rather than, I don't know, actually just like teaching at the Illinois Math and Science Academy. We're focusing on pronouns at the Illinois Math and Science Academy. What is this? What is this? That's an anti-science. The entire idea of the pronouns crap is in and of itself anti-science. This is what we're teaching there? Other emails obtained by PDE show a number of supposed biased incidents being investigated, including an allegation from the school's equity coach, which is another stupid thing. This would come from, like, you probably don't have a football coach there, so you have to have a flipping equity coach for all your mathletes, against a member of a committee reevaluating school policies through an equity lens, according to PDE. The school's equity coach said that the incident made him question how the committee was selected, suggesting that white males and Christians shouldn't be involved. Well, while I'd usually complain about it saying that white males and Christians shouldn't be involved, for once, I don't think I'd want to be in any of this. Be discriminatory. Be discriminatory because I don't want any part of this. The equity coach said the incident has made me question how individuals were chosen for the committee, considering the purpose of the work and how policies are inherently geared towards privileged individuals. And then it lists the privileged individuals: white, straight, cis, able-bodied men who are middle class and Christian. I love how it says who are middle class. That's the thing. Men who are middle class. The weird thing to me about that, men who are middle class. So the upper class ones are not the privileged ones. It's just the middle class. Interesting. And in reviewing for equity should be evaluated by those who are not privileged. Then we go down, we see all these different questions that are asked in here, types of racial or incident report. Please indicate the type of bias below. It's absolute crap. But this is what's happening. And even so, IMSA, go all the way back to the top show, producer Cody. We can just show like the headline. So everybody, if you're just tuning in, you can see what I'm talking about here a little bit. This is IMSA. This is considered to be like the high school equivalent of MIT. Like your very, very smart people that are in STEM, your science, math, some tech. Like that's where your smart people are supposed to go. And what they're learning about or what's valued to them, what they're focusing on is if you're using the right pronouns. Our education system right now is by no means about educating. Our education system right now is getting so held up on how we talk about things and what we talk about that we never actually get into the heart of basic content. The Illinois Math and Science Academy might as well be IDEI, Illinois Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Academy, IDEIA, IDEIA. That's what it should be. Because it doesn't even matter anymore if we're teaching kids what they're supposed to be learning. If we're teaching kids and prepping them to be the next scientists, the people that are actually going to cure the next big disease, and not in the way COVID or anything, but the people that are going to cure the next big disease are the people that are going to revolutionize the idea of separating conjoined twins like Ben Carson did, or the people that are going to write the next Hamilton. I don't know. Like, that's not what we're teaching kids anymore. What we're getting held up on is semantics. He, she, it's whatever. Frankly, and pardon my French, I don't give a flying fuck what your pronouns are. I care if you can read a damn book. And I know a lot of other people are like me in that. But the thing is while those teachers are grooming kids in terms of talking about pronouns in Illinois, there's an even weirder groomer coming out of Wisconsin. And I will say, for once, it's not a gay person. They're straight. Pull up this story next. It's out of the New York Post. The fiance of Madison Bergman, a teacher who was busted for making out with a fifth grader, says the wedding is off. No shit. She cheated with a little kid. We're not going to watch this video or anything, just so you know, Cody. We're going to go through this story pretty quick. I've seen this one all over, and I just found it worth talking about because I'll oftentimes discuss on this show about how the gays are coming for your children in the classroom. They always talk about things, but this is not to avoid the fact that what I've talked about multiple times recently is that those who want to sexually abuse children, which is like super, super sensitive of a topic. So like if I'll put a trigger warning out there, which I don't usually like that liberal crap, but like just because it is very sensitive, I'll say those who are interested in sexually abusing children, those who are inclined to do such horrific evil will go where children are. And while this is not the worst story I've ever heard, it's worth talking about because it's despicable, gross, and just another thing to look out for. But there's a devastated fiance of a Wisconsin elementary school teacher who was arrested for making out with a fifth grader. And he's called the wedding off, one of his friends told the Post. Madison Bergman and her betrothed, Sam Hickman, were due to tie the knot in July. But the revelation of her sick love affair with one of her 11-year-old students was has halted any plans of a flowery ceremony. Cody, if we could try to find a picture, I know there's a picture somewhere in here. Try to put that in the corner. If you just like scroll up and down, try to get the picture of her because I think it's important that people see like this looks like a normal person. A pal of the boy, who was supposed to be the man who was supposed to be marrying this young woman, has said that it's been indefinitely postponed, the wedding. I know there's a picture of them together. Cody, scroll down. Don't do the video. Scroll down. Let's get a picture of that. Yeah, do that. If you could pull that full screen, if you click on it, it might go full screen for you. I don't know. That one. But their wedding has been indefinitely postponed. And I think it's important to talk about it because I feel terrible for this guy. The longtime couple's wedding page on the popular marriage website, The Knot, has been taken down. The friend said the decision to kill the wedding, which was scheduled for July 27th, was a mutual decision. So this is supposed to be like a wedding that's supposed to happen in 2 months. And the friend said that they both decided together that they should call off this wedding. Really? Okay. How'd you come to that decision? I don't know. But he said, so the friend that's talking to the Post, like the way that this story is written is just really funny to me. The friend is talking to the Post and he says, it's effed up that she cheated with a little kid. No crap. That's fine. Cody said it won't go full screen. It's fine. We keep watching here a little bit. But he said it's effed up that she cheated with a little kid. He's really, really hurt. Not talking too much about it. It's really effed up. You can scroll down. There's some more pictures of this couple. They're a really normal looking couple. And that's the thing that I think is interesting about this. You can see like them. That's like homecoming or something. But the 24-year-old teacher was busted after the victim's parents found texts. So the victim, being the 5th grader, found texts between the pair, according to the charging documents. The boy's father stormed into Rivercrest Elementary School with printouts of the conversations, prompting an investigation. The text revealed intimate messages from the teacher detailing their encounters inside the classroom during lunch or after school, including texts telling the boy how much she enjoyed him touching her and making out. Again, this is a 5th grader to his teacher. And these are normal looking people. This is why it's important to say. The reason why I bring this story up is because the person that could be grooming and sexually assaulting our most vulnerable are not always the pink-haired, gender androgynous leftists that get mad when you accidentally say she instead of Z. No, there's normal people that are absolutely sick and they lurk in the shadows as if it's in some way like as if she I don't know how this came about. Like it's got to be some level of a demonic possession. She will get jail time. I see Laura in my comments. She needs jail time. She will likely get jail time. But there are 2 things that I think are really important to point out with this. The first is that it could literally be anybody. It could literally be anybody that preys upon our most vulnerable. The second thing is how awful for this young man. Look, many people talk about how marriage nowadays is very much slanted towards women, that there's no benefit of it towards men. And to some extent, unless you're religious, and you have a very, very good partner, I could see that perspective. I could see that. If you're not religious, what's the point of getting married? You're as a young man, if you're not religious, then you could and you don't have a solid foundation with your partner, then you could be absolutely preyed upon. This is just another example as to how scary it can be to take that step. Because while maybe your partner is not necessarily a child sexual predator, maybe you never know who they really are. You never truly know. I mean, I could not imagine being this young man, and I feel for him. And I can tell you, the prayers that I'm sending to him are enormous because I feel awful for this young guy. I mean, he thinks that he's about to have the happiest day of his life in like 2 months and marry this person that he absolutely loves, and then finds out that she's been making out with a 5th grader. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it's To Catch a Predator, man. Like, it's insane. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But you never know who could be grooming your children. You never do. Don't forget, guys, to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends. And if you're just tuning in, I'm your host, Kev Phares. We can take that off now, Cody. Let's get the next stories up ready. We're going to talk about some more groomers and their big stories that have been coming out in the last few days.